Have you ever wondered why the price of your favorite imported goods suddenly skyrocketed? Or why your dream vacation abroad became unexpectedly more expensive? The answer lies in the hidden power of national currencies, shaping our lives in ways we often overlook. National currencies are the lifeblood of the global economy, facilitating trade, investment, and economic growth across borders. These currencies, issued and managed by individual countries, serve as a medium of exchange, store of value, and unit of account within their respective economies. However, their impact extends far beyond national borders, influencing everything from international trade to global financial stability. The interconnectedness of today's world means that fluctuations in one country's currency can send ripples throughout the entire global economic system. As we'll explore, this interconnectedness can lead to both opportunities and challenges, sometimes with far-reaching consequences that destabilize the world economy. The challenges associated with fluctuating national currencies are numerous and complex. One of the primary issues is exchange rate volatility. When currency values fluctuate rapidly, it creates uncertainty for businesses engaged in international trade. Imagine a company that agrees to sell products overseas at a fixed price in the buyer's currency. If the seller's currency suddenly strengthens, the company may receive less money than expected when converting the foreign currency back to their own, potentially turning a profitable deal into a loss. Another significant challenge is the potential for currency manipulation. Some countries may deliberately devalue their currency to gain a competitive advantage in international trade. While this can boost exports in the short term, it can lead to trade imbalances and tensions between nations, potentially sparking currency wars and retaliatory measures. Moreover, the dominance of certain national currencies, particularly the US dollar, in international trade and finance creates systemic risks. When a large portion of global transactions and reserves are denominated in a single currency, economic shocks or policy changes in that country can have disproportionate effects on the global economy. Lastly, the existence of multiple national currencies creates transaction costs and inefficiencies in international trade and investment. Businesses must constantly monitor exchange rates, hedge against currency risks, and navigate complex foreign exchange markets, all of which add to the cost of doing business across borders. Let's delve deeper into how national currencies can lead to trade imbalances and economic instability. One of the key mechanisms is through the balance of trade. When a country consistently runs a trade surplus, meaning it exports more than it imports, its currency tends to appreciate. This appreciation makes its exports more expensive and imports cheaper, which should theoretically balance trade over time. However, if a country artificially maintains an undervalued currency, it can perpetuate trade imbalances, leading to global economic distortions. For example, China has been accused of keeping its currency, the renminbi, artificially weak for years to boost its exports. This policy contributed to China's massive trade surpluses and the accumulation of large foreign exchange reserves, primarily in US dollars. While this strategy supported China's rapid economic growth, it also led to imbalances in the global economy, including contributing to the US trade deficit. Another way national currencies can destabilize the world economy is through capital flows. In a world of floating exchange rates, investors constantly seek the best returns, moving large sums of money across borders. When a country's economic prospects improve or interest rates rise, it can attract a surge of foreign capital, causing its currency to appreciate rapidly. While this might seem positive, it can lead to asset bubbles and make exports less competitive, potentially harming long-term economic growth. Conversely, if investors lose confidence in a country's economy or currency, they may quickly withdraw their capital, causing a currency crisis. This can lead to a vicious cycle where currency depreciation causes inflation, further eroding confidence and triggering more capital outflows. The 1997 Asian financial crisis is a prime example of how such dynamics can spread across countries, destabilizing entire regions. The global financial system's reliance on the US dollar as the primary reserve currency also contributes to instability. This arrangement, known as the Triffin dilemma, means that the US must run persistent trade deficits to supply the world with dollars. However, these deficits can undermine confidence in the dollar's value, potentially destabilizing the very system it underpins. Furthermore, the use of national currencies in international trade can exacerbate economic shocks. For instance, when oil prices rise, countries that import oil and don't use the US dollar, the currency in which oil is typically priced, face a double whammy. They must pay more for oil and potentially see their currency depreciate against the dollar, further increasing costs. To illustrate the destabilizing power of national currencies, let's examine the European Exchange Rate Mechanism crisis of 1992, also known as Black Wednesday. This event dramatically showcases how currency pressures can overwhelm even major economies and have far-reaching consequences. In the early 1990s, European countries were working towards monetary union, with their currencies pegged to each other within specific bands. The British pound was pegged to the German Deutsche Mark. However, Germany, dealing with the costs of reunification, maintained high interest rates to control inflation. These high rates put pressure on other members, including the UK, which was experiencing a recession. Speculators, led by George Soros, believed that the UK couldn't maintain the high interest rates needed to keep the pound within its band. They began massively short-selling the pound. Despite the Bank of England's efforts to defend the currency by buying pounds and raising interest rates, the pressure became unbearable. On September 16, 1992, the UK was forced to withdraw from the and allow the pound to float freely. The pound plummeted, falling 15% against the Deutsche Mark and 25% against the US dollar. Soros reportedly made $1 billion from this trade, earning him the moniker, the man who broke the Bank of England. This event had profound consequences. It delayed the UK's entry into the euro, influenced British Euroscepticism, and demonstrated the power of financial markets over government policy. Moreover, it highlighted the challenges of maintaining fixed exchange rates in a world of free capital flows and diverging economic conditions. The crisis underscores how national currencies, particularly when rigidly managed, can become sources of economic instability. It shows that even powerful economies can be vulnerable to currency speculation and that attempts to maintain artificial exchange rates can lead to severe economic dislocations. In conclusion, while national currencies are essential to the functioning of individual economies, they can also be a source of instability in the global economic system. From exchange rate volatility and currency manipulation to trade imbalances and financial crises, the challenges are significant and multifaceted. Addressing these issues requires international cooperation and potentially new approaches to global finance. Some proposed solutions include greater coordination of monetary policies, the development of a true global reserve currency, or the increased use of digital currencies. While each of these approaches has its own challenges, they reflect a growing recognition of the need to evolve our international monetary system to better serve an increasingly interconnected global economy. What are your thoughts on the role of national currencies in the global economy? Share your views in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the complex world of international economics. Together, we can work towards a more stable and prosperous global financial system.